Welcome to the Effects Loop. I'm Diaz,
I'm Scott.
and we're keeping you in the loop of something different this week. So we talked about it before on the podcast. Scott and I both love The West Wing, and then we both like hot wings, and we were like, we should do a wings and wings, like West Wings and hot wings. And so you know what? We kind of did this. This is our treat yourself week. We're doing an episode for us. But we hope you guys listen. If you haven't watched The West Wing before, it's a fantastic show. It's on HBO Max streaming right now. And I don't think it's anywhere else. But you can go if you want. We're going to talk about episode 1, and we'll just kind of go from there. But, it's a show that we both really love. And if you want to get to know your hosts, that's a good show. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to explain this. I don't think I need to explain it anymore. I think that pretty much covered it, right?
Yeah, we watched episode 1 pilot here.
Yes.
You like a week ago, me today.
Scott's tracking it because I use Scott's HBO Max, so he knows when I'm watching stuff.
Yeah, I'm super aware of whenever he's watching something. But yeah.
He's like, oh, you finished Entourage, I see.
Yep.
Like, that was 5 minutes ago. What is going on? All right.
And because We Own the City is only going to be a short thing, even though you all need to be watching that show. But
I still haven't seen that.
Oh, dude, it's The Wire. It's the new The Wire.
I've never seen The Wire.
Oh, you should watch The Wire when we're done with this.
Okay.
When we're done with this, we're going to do like one episode every 4 months.
How many seasons are there? 8?
Yeah.
7?
I think we only do Jed Bartlett's terms. Just throwing it out there.
That's still a whole lot of episodes to hit.
It is.
If people actually enjoy this, you can go to the Effects Loop group or anything like that. Tell us you do enjoy it. And we talked about maybe doing this kind of like a standalone thing every few weeks or so, maybe. But we'd have to get like people to actually really support that, so we could not pay.
We're a little bit scared of the fact that actually a nostalgic podcast on the West Wing might actually be a more popular podcast than this thing we've been slaving away at for 4 years now.
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine like this one episode? Oh, this one episode gets like,
who knows? This might be the one this might be another one of those YouTube blow up ones we have. So who knows?
We're gonna have to pick the the title pretty good.
Oh, it's gonna be Wings and Wings, episode 1 pilot. Probably.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to add the like the search, like the keywords, and put the West Wing and like all that.
Yeah.
All right. So the whole thing is Wings and Wings. So today we're eating Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, and when we say we,
I figured we could have like
eventually lied. I think I got another half an hour until my order is supposed to arrive.
Yeah, so we actually we kind of did a fun thing where we both picked a sauce or a flavor. And did you do that? Did you actually go through with that, or did you just get what you wanted?
Yeah, I got both of the ones we talked about.
Yeah, so we did the spicy garlic, which was my choice. That's one of my favorites. And Scott did pick the what's the barbecue? The
Chipotle barbecue,
which is a dry rub.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sick. Now I'm really happy.
I'm not a big dry rub person. Like I won't pick that over a sauce. But I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it.
I enjoy a good dry rub. So we're going Buffalo Wild Wings too. That's an important thing in this.
Yeah, it's like a Zoom date.
Are we gonna go through all of Buffalo Wild Wings? Is that the goal? Because I'm
down.
Old. I'm getting old.
I'm down.
I might do like one wing when we get to like the habanero. I can't do like 6.
Oh, the mango habanero is fantastic.
Actually, I had the mango habanero in college one time. Tangent. Stop them. First episode. Straight parrot.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty much where we're at, everybody. So let's see.
Let's get into it. Episode 1.
Well, really quick. This is to the podcast. I did I got a side of the Doritos Flamin' Hot sauce. Not bad. It is hot, but it's also where I drank some Coke and the heat went away. So it's not like one of those that lingers and you're like wanting milk or something. So, but it tastes just, I dunked some fries in it. And it was like eating Doritos. It was really good.
That seems like a good dunk Doritos in it, or dunk your fries in it kind of a thing.
Yes.
Actually.
I feel like they should have just like advertised that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anywho, let's see. Let's talk about the plot. Do you want to read the plot? I feel like you'd have a better plot reading voice.
Oh, I see. This seemed like right up your territory, but all right.
All right. Oh, okay. Rock, paper, scissors. No, I'm just kidding. One of us needs to read it.
Well, I think you're just going to need another bite of the wings while I don't have anything, so we're just going to use that as an excuse. So,
Okay.
The West Wing staffers are introduced as each learns via phone or pager that the president was in a cycling accident. Josh faces the possible loss of his job after an on-air insult of a political opponent, which Toby tries to prevent by having Josh make a personal apology. Sam's fling the previous night with Lori, who, unbeknownst to Sam is a call girl, puts him in hot water, which he compounds with ineptly lecturing a class of fourth graders about the White House, and then asking their teacher which child is Leo's daughter. Leo must deal with the fallout from Josh's blunder, as well as 137 Cuban refugees who escaped on rafts and are seeking asylum. That number is low. The president walks in during Josh's apology, recites the first commandment, and lambasts 3 Christian politicals for not denouncing a fringe group.
What was the fringe group?
It comes up later. I got it written down.
The Knights of something.
Something like that.
That Chipotle barbecue.
Yeah,
is good.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
So it's just like, imagine you get wings at a barbecue joint. That it's not a sauce, but like they got a seasoning on it.
Well, barbecue seasoning is a thing. There are barbecue flavor seasonings that like have like, it's usually probably like cumin, some paprika, some brown sugar, you know.
Brown sugar. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the app. Some big themes here. One, they set this whole thing up with the president being out of the office, and everyone like the whole thing being around, everyone reacting around the show.
One of my favorite things is this was a very big I'm guessing this was out before the Obama administration. I'm pretty sure it was.
I think this was this was 99, so this was before Bush. This was during the Clinton administration.
Okay. So like they used POTUS. This episode aired September 22nd, 1999. Okay. So the big thing was at the beginning of the episode was the term POTUS being used quite a bit and people being confused by it, which is crazy. I think it was crazy looking back. I'm going into the nostalgia part really quick.
Well, I think the Twitter handle of at POTUS has kind of changed that around a little bit.
That was what I was going to say. Obama using Twitter. I'm pretty sure I don't think Bush used Twitter. I think
Obama was the first Twitter account.
And that was very big. And that brought the term POTUS to the general masses using it.
I'm sure
more.
Twitter
using it more.
Well, so here's the thing, like POTUS is only really used by them when they're using their pagers to have something short, right? POTUS is only 5 letters, so it fits on a pager really nicely,
right?
I think Twitter brought that back because everyone was trying to keep their character counts low.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
No, it does, but I just thought that was pretty cool. Me having watched it after the Obama administration had started and the Twitter handle being used, it wasn't but like looking back, I'm like, okay, that's kind of crazy that they used it as much then. But let's go over.
Actually, can I back you up way up?
Yes.
When was the first time you saw this? Did you watch it when it was airing on TV?
No.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
My dad loved this show.
Okay, my mom watched the show some, but she wasn't like a huge fan.
I only remember like the first 2 seasons watching it at home, though. I don't know if we watched I don't remember the Jimmy Smits era until I watched it on streaming.
I think we all want to forget that era.
Well, Alan Arkin was in it.
You mean Alan Alda?
Alda. Wow.
Yeah. No, he was fantastic. I liked him way better than. All right,
it's Alan Alda. He's good in everything.
That's true.
All right, so let's kind of dive into some of the things of the movie. I think, do we want to start into my favorite part of the whole episode, or do we want to kind of pull apart some of the major plot points first?
Let's try to walk the plot a little bit.
So the president is injured.
Right.
and is out of the office, and how everyone is handling things while the central leader is not there.
Right. And how everyone's handling the also the fallout, air quotes. It's not really fallout, but like what's going to happen when people find out what happened to the president.
Well, it was
which that was
like,
more CJ, but like it started kind of touching everyone.
Well, there's a few interesting things of like, so we're going to talk about like nostalgia and things like that later, but watching CJ announce, okay, here's the announcement, and here's some photos of the president refusing help from a have your laughs in and just move on.
Right.
There's an interesting level of we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Right.
That this would not be today.
Well, yeah.
And like, if this happened today, like I don't know back then. No, back then that was when everyone had they were out for Clinton pretty bad. So yeah, it would be blown up pretty bad too there. But like about his incompetence, is he over this and this and this and this? You know, is he going senile? You know, like there'd just be extrapolation galore. But watching how CJ is not combative necessarily, it's just like we have egg on our face, laugh at us. Was an interesting vibe.
Yeah, and I think it was really what was it? Whenever Leo was talking to Miss Lanningham, and it's like your president's a dweeb. What can I tell you?
Yes,
and she was like that. Kind of just showed how.
Well, Miss Lanningham saying, "No, this is the Oval Office. You speak with
yes. You can speak out.
Here.
You can talk about it however you want. Anywhere else, just not inside. That's the only rule I have."
That was a really nice moment.
That was really great because it really also it kind of set the ground. So we're talking about one of the things you're talking about, the intro into the characters. Miss Lanningham is probably one of my favorite side characters, which also you've got to understand too. Another thing with we're going to probably hit this, but like what would normally be the side characters in a show are the main characters. The whole point of this show is to talk about the staffers and the people who are doing the work. It's not a show that's directed to like follow the president.
Yeah, and really this first episode kind of emphasizes that of like,
yes,
the president is an absent character until the very conclusion.
Right.
And it's about all the prep work that comes in before the decision maker comes in the room in a lot of ways.
And honestly, just Jed Bartlett, Martin Sheen, that part seems like it was written for him. Like he wears that character so well, and it's really hard to take your focus away from him. That's where we see later in the show it starts pulling that way, is because he's such a he embodies that character so well. You're drawn to him. It's like magnetism. Sorry, Martin Sheen's the man.
He is definitely. It was great hiring for the role. I'm trying to remember what Martin Sheen did like right before this, because like here's the other thing. Like this was the casting on the show is kind of interesting. Like Rob Lowe coming back from like serious scandals.
This was his first like role in getting
after he got like wasn't he like was that wasn't at the DNC he got like videotaped with a minor?
I don't remember.
Something like that. Something bad, like really bad.
Yeah. And they picked a great character. They picked a very clean cut character to portray him as.
Well, there's funny parts of like in his character. I see a little bit of his character in Parks and Rec.
Yes. Well, I feel like those characters, I feel like Rob Lowe just has that quirkiness, the way he reacts and talks. And I feel like that just bleeds into the characters, not so much the characters bleeding into each other. I feel that, I mean, cause it's really the quick talk that he has, like the little, like, and the quick movement of his face. Like, and they're very quick and jagged. So that's, kind of a thing that I think follows the characters around. That kind of it bleeds into the character, his just personal mannerisms. But yeah, and so let's see. We talked about the president being injured, and that was a good way to lay the foundation of the president not being the main character. Then Josh just lets his mouth slip. Is he going to get fired? That's another plot line. That's one thing that's great about the West Wing too, is you've got multiple plot lines happening at once, and they all start to intertwine.
Well, they all intertwine once they come to before the president, and the president solves them. In a lot of ways, that's kind of how the show's format winds up being. Oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Well, we need to strategize. Well, let's run through the options. What do we do? What do we do? So that by the time it's in front of the president, it's all been worked out, or at least some parts of it are worked out. But at the same time,
he's given his options.
He kicks it in another direction.
Oh yeah,
like he has another move left, or he has something like this one.
Right.
He has the gravitas to go against the. I guess this is effectively the fake leaders. Meaning that they're fake names, but it's effectively the religious right people, like the spokespeople of the religious right. So I don't even know who they are anymore.
From the show?
Well, like if this was today, it would be like Albert Mohler came in, you know?
Franklin Graham,
sure.
Not
Jerry Falwell Jr. anymore, but it would have been him a while ago.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think. But the Mary Marsh character.
The time of this filming, it could have been Jerry Falwell.
Yep.
Senior. Anyway, there is as well the Cuban migrants coming in. Cuban.
You have cumin on the brain.
I have pretzel in my mouth is what it is. Now our synopsis said 137. That's all that made it, right? Because like there was something like 1,200 or something like that, or 2,000 of them. That like left, and then like 700 turned back, and then a bunch died because a storm was coming in.
Yeah, these were the ones that was like a thing that they barely touched on. The main focus was these 137. They kind of
let it just play itself out. Like there didn't seem to be like they discussed what should we do, but then they kind of chose to do nothing. It kind of seemed like, well, there was this whole thing about like they're having the staff meeting, and Sam has to go call the dude from Center for Disease Control or something like that. Like they decided to go with humanitarian efforts instead of like sending in the military, which was something that I discussed.
So that was, and if you compare that to like today, it's honestly the same thing. Is it? I wouldn't go as far as Cuba, but I'd say immigration.
But like let's talk about like right now. Man, this is going to wind up being a lot more hotbed political than I think I was anticipating. Caravan narrative on like Fox News for like how many days or weeks?
Yeah, those people that were coming up and like there was a whole big thing about it. Like that wasn't
or
too
right
long
now.
ago.
There's the Ukrainian humanitarian crisis of all the immigrants or refugees leaving Ukraine.
That is definitely, and that's one thing that is good about the show is they do pick topics that are that it seems like they don't change. I mean, you've got your hotbed topics. One second, Kyle, get away from my wings.
I mean, that's probably a more damning commentary on just simply our political system hasn't solved anything in 20 years.
No. And all they've done is run us around in circles. It's all right. So I mean, think of throughout the show, the things that they touch. That you've got immigration, abortion, religious freedom. This is all things that we could constantly are fighting about and never solve. And it's things. What it is, it's things politicians use to get people riled up and against each other instead of realizing the politicians are screwing us. But don't tell them I said that because I don't want to die under mysterious circumstances. Oh, yeah, the motherland. All right. Anywho,
what about Sam and the call girl? What do you think about that?
So interesting thing. I thought something that was interesting was that was not the first thing in the show, but it was pretty early on in the show. And you have
the introduction of him meeting her was like right off the bat. That was
right.
Him, but having a drink somewhere, and the White House reporter is like pestering him.
Right. Well, I'm talking. The thing I was getting to before I was interrupted was drug use on screen, smoking weed. Granted, it's DC, and I don't know if it was legal at that time.
No, nothing. When wasn't Denver the first place, or Colorado the first place?
DC was legal pretty early. Hold on, let's see. What? year did DC legalize?
Washington, Colorado in 2012.
Washington State or Washington DC?
No, it was state of Washington.
Okay, hold on. All right, 2014. All right, so it wasn't legal then. So
not by a long mile.
Right.
Medical was legalized in a lot of places already, though.
Well, yeah, but I don't think being a call girl is a medical condition.
Sex workers experience a lot of personal trauma.
Wow, we're going there.
I don't think that's a controversial statement.
No, it's just like we're getting awful deep there, sir.
Yeah, we are. Which also, she is an escort, which it implies a fancier line of work. But anyway.
Yeah, but putting lipstick on a pig doesn't, anywho. All right, it is what it is. She was a sex worker.
Mm-hmm. Who I met in a hotel bar.
But yeah, okay, so this was a primetime show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had
on NBC.
Yeah, primetime show on NBC. Within the first 5 minutes, they've got marijuana use that's talked about.
And shown.
I thought that was,
And shown.
Yeah, it showed her smoking. So I thought that was interesting, and but that's also something that, in the nostalgia way, is that seems like it should have been kind of controversial at the time. Maybe not, but it definitely would have been something interesting. I'm sure that someone wrote a letter about it.
I mean, there's so many things to write a letter about in this episode, especially if you're coming from the more
conservative.
Yeah, I guess you could say conservative. I would just say the morality police.
More morally conservative.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see.
So I guess the last topic of the big topics were Josh's ex is now in town and working for the rival. So they're painting a point here about the president's position's under threat and he might get primaried, and rivals are starting to show up. So they're kind of painting a picture that their poll numbers aren't great.
Yeah. So they definitely are. Yeah, like you said, saying he's not. His what did they call him? Not just his approval ratings. There was a different term they used for him. But yeah,
favorability, likability.
Yeah, one of the things I really liked with the whole introducing Mandy, Josh's ex, is it really gave a good. We didn't talk about Leo, his intro.
Oh, we haven't gotten to the intro.
Oh, intros. Oh, wait. Sorry. We just happened to talk about Mandy being introduced.
I chose not to make Mandy one of the main characters.
Yeah, she's not though, so I agree with that. But one of the cool things was we got to see Leo's kind of snarky humor whenever when Josh finds out that Mandy's in town. He says, you're so and so, and you want to run for office. Who do you get to run your campaign? Leo says, I get you. Talking about Josh, he goes, I've already got a job. Then I get Mandy. If I can pull her away from this 6-figure. And it was this really thing where anytime Josh was talking about Mandy, Leo just kind of got snarky. And I loved it because it really started laying the groundwork for Leo.
Mm-hmm.
But now, yeah.
That's a decent segue. So let's go into laying the groundwork for every single character, because everyone's personality gets wrapped up in a really interesting little charrette right before the phone call comes.
Mm-hmm.
So Leo is mad at the crossword for being wrong.
Gaddafi is not a word for anything. They spelt it wrong.
Yeah.
And Gaddafi, I should know. I've met the man, what does he say, 2 or 3 times?
It's something about he's pointing missiles at him or something like that.
Yeah. He's like, it's spelt with 2 F's and it's not a word for anything. It was great.
There's CJ at the gym talking to the guy next to her on a treadmill, who I think they imply is just a dude.
Yeah, has no clue who it is because the confusion he gives her whenever she's just talking away about from 5 to 5:30, this is my time, or whatever the time was. And yeah, like you said, talking about a work-life balance, which is hilarious because she gives herself 30 minutes of the day and then she talks about the rest of her day. It's like this just constant.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a joke about how she falls at the end of the scene.
Oh, that was fantastic because the guy just ignores what she says, like your beeper's going off or your pager's going off, and she grabs it and eats it, which is very CJ as well.
Yeah.
What's the name of the actress who does CJ? She's in the other mom movie or the mom show with
Allison
Anna Faris.
Janney.
Yes, she's phenomenal.
Oh,
this like honestly, the best part about this show is the ensemble. They got people who play these characters so well.
Oh, totally. All right, and then we have Josh. Josh's intro is him waking up, asleep in his office, stressing out.
Yes,
which is great foreshadowing after opening his mouth and making a mistake.
Yeah, it is not the last time you'll find Josh waking up in his office.
What do you think about Sam's intro? That it's him not talking to the press, and I think this girl might be interested in me, and then moving on.
I don't,
because they introduced two love interests for Sam.
Yes, they did. They introduced Lori, and also what's her name? Leo's daughter, Mallory. I don't know. I really felt like Sam's character grew later in the show.
Well, I mean, part of it is like, I guess everyone is always stepping in it, but Sam particularly is one of those ones who seems to always step in it.
Through his actions. Yeah, Sam is always the guy who like tries to do something and just he like overdoes it to the point where it blows up in his face.
I love the scene where Sam and Josh are both looking at each other. He's like, "Is that the same suit as yesterday?"
Yep.
You? Yep.
Yeah. Well, and that it was really great because you like see how like the long hours these people are working,
but like how unflinching they are about it too. They're just like, all right, whatever.
I feel like there's someone who's not on this list who should be considered a main character.
Oh, who?
Donna.
Yeah. All right, so you got Donna. How would you? But is Donna right away? She's kind of introduced a little.
She's introduced.
It's Leo coming in asking where Josh is.
Right. And doesn't she wake him up?
No, she just like yells.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. And he like shakes and like startles up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, granted, Donna's character grows more into a main character, but I feel like we should give her the respect of including her on the first episode.
Fair enough. I think they grow her into a bigger character.
Yeah. She definitely starts off as almost a Mandy level character.
Mm-hmm.
And then, honestly, I feel like after some of the cast shifts, you see her become a main character whenever some of the other actors had other gigs they were doing on top of this. And they became less of the focal point. Fair
enough. And then the last one is Toby is still working on a plane.
Yes.
And refusing to close his laptop and wants to make a phone call while on a plane and is getting into it with a
stewardess. This is a Boeing something. You're telling me that I can take it down with something I bought from Radio Shack? Oh my gosh.
It's a great moment of Toby, exact quote. We're flying in a Lockheed Eagle series L1011. It came off the line 20 months ago. It carries a SIM5 transponder tracking package. Are you telling me I can still flummox this thing with something I bought at Radio Shack?
Flummox.
Which is, in a lot of ways, it's Toby making the rant we all wanted to make at some point in our lives of like, why do I have to turn my phone off? This is dumb.
Toby is like
doing it in a way that still makes him look like a dick.
I feel like Toby was almost written by Larry David, which I know that Toby is more Aaron Sorkin than anything, but like some of the things is like it definitely has the like Larry David just calling it out.
Yeah, there's another great scene later where they're talking with the religious right people, and she uses that one of the ladies says something like, "Well, you're New York values," and he's like, he says for that being an anti-Semitic comment.
Well, she says they think they're so smart, them with their New York sense of humor.
Yeah, New York sense of humor.
They think they're, and then Josh says, "Well, I'm from Delaware,
Connecticut,
or from Connecticut." Yeah, and Toby calls it out. Says no, Jews. Josh, she's talking about Jews. Like. And Josh Josh is actually the one that tries to move it forward and play it off, and Toby's not having it. And one of the religious leaders says, well, the first commandment says, honor thy father and mother. And Toby says, that's the fourth commandment.
Third.
And he's like,
he says it's the third, even though it's the fifth commandment, I believe. Is it fourth or fifth? I could look it up. It's actually one of the few, it's one of the marked errors in this show.
Oh, wow.
It's the fifth commandment in Protestantism. Roman Catholics and Lutherans call it's the fourth.
Okay.
Interesting that the commandments get switched around a bit on your denomination. Yeah, because you shall honor your God. His first commandment, no other gods before me.
Honor
no
the Lord
idols.
thy God. Yeah.
That's 1, 2, 3, right? It's been a while since I've had to recite those.
Yeah,
Anyway, so that was another fun one of him correcting them.
Right. And like, what do you say? If I'm going to sit here and be lectured about if we're going to sit here and name the commandments, we're going to get them right.
Yeah.
Or name the damn commandments, even cuss. Like that was like, so like it was, but it was great. I felt like the episode just had a really good flow. The Lori plot, I felt was a little clunky at times.
Well, it's setting up something in the future because it hasn't blown up in his face other than Sam having just blabbermouth, which is such a Sorkin trope where someone just like, I just blurted out everything I'm doing today. Because I don't know anyone that actually has that level of verbal diarrhea, but you know what? It's fun.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. So are we moving on to moments of nostalgia?
Yeah. So what moments of this where you're like, oh, that's cute, that's old? Because we're talking about a 23-year-old show here.
Yeah. The pagers thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I like the comment of Josh's tie is a pattern that doesn't work on TV because like
it wasn't high def or anything.
Yeah, back before HD TVs, like you couldn't wear certain patterns on television. I guess you still can't in some situations.
The computers, that was kind of crazy. Just like seeing, because nowadays you're so used to seeing flat screens. You're not used to seeing an actual like large monitor that has a bulb and like it's crazy.
Yeah, I put down the Mrs. Landingham
requiring
respect for the Oval Office. Like I'm like, oh, remember that?
Yeah, when we actually had that at one point.
Yeah, or like even like here's the tour of the Oval Office. And it's like we're supposed to be in awe of the White House.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't know. Maybe I got old. I don't know, but like I don't feel wowed by the White House like I used to.
Honestly, I feel like with the development of social media and the just explosiveness of the exploding growth of the internet, it's really demystified the office, and it's also it's just with the political climate, it's made it where no one really respects that office.
So that definitely has, there's that bit of nostalgia there of like, people still stand up when the president enters the room, right? Like that hasn't gone away.
I would believe that's almost like a requirement.
When the president stands, everyone stands. That's going to come up in a later episode.
That's season 2.
Yeah.
That's no, wait, no. Is it season 1?
I don't know. It's definitely one of the Martin Sheen gravitas moments.
I think it might be season 1. Like,
do we need to make that a topic? The Martin Sheen gravitas moment of the episode.
Every time that he puts on a jacket weird.
Oh, actually, jacket flip count was 0 in this episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
He hasn't truly developed as a character yet.
It's the pilot.
I'm trying to think of some more nostalgia in the episode.
I mean, no one's tweeting.
Yeah.
No social media. So like there's actually like Mandy talking on a flip phone while she's driving her BMW E36.
People reading newspapers, which is less common now. I know it still happens, but like printed media is,
or an interview in a news. The topic, the president's granddaughter being interviewed in a magazine. Teen magazine. Yeah.
Do they even still make like Teen Bop or anything like that?
I think they've all just moved online, right?
I would hope so.
But I'd bet you like
that's
Teen
definitely
Vogue
definitely a know your target audience situation.
Yeah.
You can have it beamed into your head while you sleep. Sign me up.
Actually, so here's an interesting one that I don't know if you've thought about it this way, but what Josh got in trouble for by being a talking head and kind of getting into it with somebody else,
which is now celebrated.
Well, no, it doesn't happen anymore.
What do you mean?
They don't put opposing views on the news anymore. If you're a talking head, you're all agreeing and egging each other on cable news. You're not like even
there's not crossfire. There's no crossfire. There's no opposing.
Tucker Carlson has moved on to different things.
Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
That was him. Crossfire was him.
I know, but like it's just
like Bill Maher's show used to be like that, but now he doesn't seem to have Republicans on his show anymore.
Well, and that's a sad thing about we've come to a world where if someone has a different view than you, they're wrong and they like should die. Like that. Like I know that's an exaggeration.
You won't even come on another news network,
right?
I mean, because we have really partisan news now too. So like he was on like some like he was on some version of like Meet the Press.
Oh yeah,
you know where he like lost his cool.
Yeah. The God that you pray to is too busy being indicted for tax fraud.
Oh, such a good line.
Which also is a thing that hasn't changed, is dealing with church leaders and money.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's the very nature of why the religious right exists, but that's my opinion.
You know, weird conversation. I was actually talking with my mom about tithing. And we were talking about tithing, the belief of tithing your skills and talents and time. Mm-hmm. And just the opposing view, because it was really weird because my stepdad and I don't agree on much. We get along great, but we just have opposing views and we can talk about them. It's a really great thing. But he actually agrees with tithing your time and skills and talents.
I believe in doing both.
I do too. I believe that there's a healthy balance, but like, yeah, it's just interesting. Anywho, before we go off on that tangent,
should we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, because the thing is one of the big things that happens is, so we talked about the back and forth between the religious, or the pastors and the religious leaders and the staffers. Mm-hmm. Talking about the commandments, and Toby getting a little hot-headed, CJ sitting there saying nothing.
Yeah, and they call her out on it too.
Oh my gosh. Josh says it. I especially love whenever you contributed absolutely nothing. But when that happens, they start getting heated, and Toby raises his voice. Well, the religious leader actually says, well, what is the first commandment? And just the best character intro ever is Jed Bartlett walking in. I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. And you're just like, this just dude
taking over the room.
Just like, and he does it with the show. Just that character and the way Martin Sheen plays him when he comes on the screen, it has your attention. It just commands it. But like, the big thing is, as he goes on,
gravitas moment.
It was a gravitas moment, just knocked it out of the park. But he goes on to talk about how who was the main religious leader? Do you remember his name?
There was a Van Dyke.
No.
And there was a I actually have it. It's in the quotes here, so that's why I'm like looking up.
Oh,
Caldwell.
Caldwell. That's it.
Yeah.
He asked him. He's like, or he was like, pretty much like, we've known each other for a while. He's like, or he talks about. He's like, my granddaughter, so and so, pretty much like she's amazing and all this, and she got asked a question, and she gave an honest answer, and I forgot what he called them though, like a rogue religious group,
Fringe,
a fringe religious group called the Knights of the something, sent her a doll with a knife through it. Was that what it was?
It was like a Raggedy Ann doll with a knife through it.
Right. And he asked Caldwell to denounce that group, and he hasn't. So being the ass kicker that he is, he pretty much says, until you do that, like, screw you.
Yeah, you'll denounce these people, Al. You'll do it publicly, and until you do, you can get all your fat asses out of my White House. CJ, and then, show these people out.
Mary Marsh says,
I believe we can find the door. He says, find it now.
Find it now. Oh, gravitas. Like right there, dude. Oh my gosh, that's getting me pumped just thinking about it.
Yeah, it was interesting. So this topic heading here is, wow, it's still like that.
Yeah.
And so, one, fringe religious groups sending like coded death threats and crazy people doing that crap to public officers and things like that. Wow, we're still doing that over the same topics. Mm-hmm. And actually, it's particularly poignant given what's going on in the world the last 2 weeks.
Right.
There was that great thing about like, well, that one grandma held off the people with a gun, so therefore we should have everyone have guns. Argument came out, and they argued over that. There's the still, how do we handle refugees? Still a thing there. Though you don't hear about Cuban refugees anymore. I mean, this was right before. When was it? Elian Gonzalez was not too far after this.
No, I think he was before it.
Was it during the Clinton administration, Elian?
Yes.
I thought that was the Bush for some reason.
No, I can't. Hold on. Elian Gonzalez. Oh no, that was in 2000.
Yeah, so after it, like a year after.
Yeah. They're like the Simpsons. They predicted the future. But Elian Gonzalez wasn't the first. He was just he was just the poster
highly
child. Literally
publicized one where everyone
the poster child.
Yeah. I'll put it this way: fake apologies. Where you have to hold a meeting and be educated, but you don't change your mind, but you make an apology to certain people.
Yeah.
Still going on. You say
you're sorry to get something out of them.
Yeah. And then you have to horse trade a little bit, and then you can move on. Also, religious majority not condemning fringe groups, still a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Well, I don't know. It seems like
any more in there.
What?
Oh, yeah, and we still have to close our laptops when we land a plane. Yeah, it's still like that. Actually, I get the close your laptop one. It's big enough that like if they have turbulence, it goes flying. That's why you have to.
And you can't use your cell phones because then how you got to pay for the Wi-Fi.
You know how many times I've actually left my phone on, and I look down and I'm getting reception. Oh, my wings are here. Hang on.
Oh snap! Oh dang, that was pretty close too. So it is 7:45, and his estimated delivery time was 7:43 or 7:47. I'm going to pull up the picture. Okay. It's 3 minutes late.
All right, now we can close out the episode with me trying some of these.
All right, so it's 3 minutes late from its estimated delivery time, which is actually pretty amazing as far out as it was.
Well, considering I made this order at 5 and it's 6:45 now.
Yeah, but like to be 3 minutes off and that far of a...
Well, they updated once during the thing.
Oh.
But...
What did they update it to?
Well, so it was originally going to be like 30, and then it like got upgraded again. What's in this plain paper bag?
Lettuce, celery.
4 carrots in cellophane wrap.
4 carrots in cellophane. That's my new album title.
Yep. Note to self, I'm not getting carrots next time because it's not worth it. I'd rather get an extra sauce. Do you have to pay for the carrots? No, well, you get 2 sauces. I did the fries and wings bundle.
Okay, I did. I got 4 ranches with mine, and they just put it in a giant tub.
Got 4 ranches?
Yeah.
How many wings did you get?
20. I did the BOGO half off.
I did the 10.
Okay. Well, I took advantage of the sale.
I did too. I mean, I think I spent more on delivery fees than I did actually on these wings.
See, and I went and picked mine up, so.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to tell me how much to send you.
Oh, no, don't worry about it.
Are you covering your cost?
I'm covering my cost this week.
I'm broke. I'm not.
Pilot program.
He's an investor.
Yeah. All right. Can we move on to best quote?
Do you think that's the best quote?
I have 2 nominations there for best quotes.
All right.
I welcome you to add to this. Best quotes. One of mine was just personally was Mallory right after Sam is just like blabbering and making up all these White House facts to impress the kids. And she goes, "I'm sorry to be rude, but are you a moron?" And he says, "In this particular area, yes."
Oh, that's whenever she pulled him outside. Yeah. He's like, he said, it was the Roosevelt room.
Yeah.
For
he said the wrong Roosevelt.
He said for
there's a massive portrait sitting right behind him.
He said for Franklin Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Whenever there was a giant portrait of Teddy Roosevelt behind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And then I also in snarky comments, or great turnarounds, when the president comes in, he's like, "If our children buy pornography on any street corner for $5, is that too high a price to pay for free speech?" Bear in mind, this was like right after I think the whole Penthouse like First Amendment stuff. So like just President Barber goes, "No, really?" On the other hand, I think $5 is too high a price to pay for pornography. I thought that was a really interesting quip.
Yeah. Okay. So
they didn't predict how much free pornography would be a thing in 20 years.
Yeah. All right. So I've got 2 that I'm gonna nominate.
Go for it.
Leo says, "True or false? If I were to stand on the high ground in Key West with a good pair of binoculars, I'd be as informed as I am right now." Josh says, "That's true." Leo, "The intelligence budget's money well spent, isn't it?"
Yeah, that's a great one.
And then also Toby said, talking about the immigrants, "You think the United States is under attack from 1,200 Cubans and rowboats?" Sam, "I'm not saying I don't like our chances." Toby, "Mind-boggling to me that we ever won an election."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 1,200 was like the number that's probably where you came up with that number.
Yeah,
maybe that's what it started as, was like
12. Yeah, it did. They were like, it's like maybe 1,200, maybe 2,000. We don't know.
Yeah.
There was another really
because he said, because that was the whole thing, was didn't Sam want to bring the military in? Sam was for the military.
Sam said, "Is this a military thing?"
Oh yeah, that's right.
The military be handling this, and they were like, "Well, this is a humanitarian thing." So there's an interesting thing there.
You think the United States is under attack from 1,200 Cubans and rowboats? I'm not saying I don't like our chances. Oh, that was a good one. All right. Yeah, but I do like the pornography quote too.
One of the other things. If you're a big fan of the show, I also love Toby's. I agree with Josh, and I agree with CJ, and I agree with Sam. And you know how that makes me crazy.
I love one of my favorite things was one of the it's not in this episode, was when Toby says, I try not to make it a habit to argue with Josh when he's right. That's another one of my favorites. Toby has so many great quotes because I don't know, the Toby character.
He's the wordsmith. He's supposed to be good with words. Right. Josh is not. Josh is always supposed to put his foot in his mouth.
And honestly, the Toby character does have a very dry Jewish sense of humor.
Whoa.
It's intended to be that way.
Should we go into the semi-rapid fire questions?
Are you like, okay, sure.
I have nothing constructive to add to it. I also have nothing destructive to add. I'm just going to let it simmer and move on.
No, it's bothering me because now I feel like you're judging me.
No, I
I
just
didn't
want to
mean
move on.
it in any sort of negative way.
I don't know
Okay.
how to respond to that discussion any further. I mean, his character is distinctly Jewish in a lot of ways, and that's a big part of his character. The same way, like the President Bartlett is Jesuit, and that's highly effective of like his character and shaping.
Yeah, and then that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like it's part of his character.
Yeah,
and
whereas Josh is ethnically Jewish but not practicing, and so like you see that kind of dynamic of those different cultures. Yes,
very correct. All right, semi rapid fire questions.
Yep.
All right, if this episode were made today, what would be different?
Everything would be tweeted.
Yeah,
there would have been like leaked photos about like President Bartlett hitting the tree.
Yeah, trying to think. What else would be different? I don't know. I feel like CJ's character would be a bigger deal, or like the entire that wing that deals with, because it seems like now the biggest thing with the president is his image, his public image.
I would say the press pool would be more combative.
Yeah,
like
for
CJ's
sure.
ability to actually get through a press briefing without being constantly interrupted and like all that kind of stuff, and like that level of saying, look, it's a slow news day. I've only got these 3 items, and so I got plenty of time for you. Like, yeah, I don't think that is the same kind of attitude. The Sean Spicer era of press secretary would have worked that way. You know, was Danny Kincannon in this episode? I don't recall, so probably no.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Yeah, I think he's a later character.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was early on. I'm sure he's in the first few episodes. But yeah, I don't. I feel like that would be different, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of it's just stood the test of time. I mean, honestly, I just feel like the technology would be updated. But most of the storyline is something that could be happening today.
I think cable news would have been a bigger deal part of the show.
Yeah, and I feel like that, but I like with CJ's area. I'm talking about I feel like that would be very big. I feel like that would just be a constant thing that just keeps going, and I feel like it would be talked about by more people, more of the staffers, which a lot of the staffers do worry about the public image. But I feel like it would be like how would it look if we did this? And it would be more of a discussion in the decision making. It would be more of a part of the decision making than it is in the show. But who's in charge, Josh or Donna? Josh in this episode. Donna.
What did you think about the whole like Donna bringing him in coffee and he's like, "How long have you worked for me? Have you ever brought me coffee?"
I thought it was cool because it was like at one point it was kind of like we should know this, like we've already been following them around forever. Like we feel like we know them.
It's part of the character foreshadowing that this spicy girl is spicy. I just got a taste of it. That Donna's
is it good though?
Donna's a terrible assistant, but she's a great friend. Like that's always kind of supposed to be part of what she is, right?
I wouldn't say she's a terrible assistant. She's
terrible in the traditional view. Like she isn't proper. She doesn't show up with a cup of coffee. Like he's not Leo's assistant. You know? What's her name? Starts with a. I'm drawing a blank, but I know her face right
now. It's
not
Marjorie. It's
Margaret.
Margaret. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or Miss Landingham.
Miss Landingham. Yeah. So like, it's more that she's. I feel like she's quirky.
Well, I think Josh likes her because she challenges him.
Yeah, she's more of a counterpart than so much like always just an assistant.
But there's just such a dysfunctional nature about her at the same time and her quirkiness. I mean, she's a little bit of the manic pixie dream girl aesthetic. Sometimes there's elements of that, which is consistent with the era. So
that's true. All right, is CJ living her best life?
In this episode, I think she is. I think she thinks she is.
Yeah.
I mean, she met a guy at the gym. She got her me time in.
And then she dealt with the president riding a bicycle into a tree.
Yep. Honestly, she never got in trouble. She kind of skated through this episode without being in any drama. So she was just kind of there.
That's true.
Was Toby too much of a smartass?
He's always too much of a smartass.
Hmm.
I feel like he's always taking it like it's like you could have ended that sentence a little while ago.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I do love how it shows Toby as being the guy who's going to make the comment, but he's just going to shut up and do what he needs to do anyways. Because she was just like, just put the phone away, and he just closes it. Yeah, I didn't get my peanuts.
Yeah, he has a snarky comment to end up too. Yeah.
He's got to have the last word, but he's still going to let the other person win. But yeah. What's with the that's what's her face guest star went on to the best show.
So yeah, that's what's her face award.
Okay.
This one definitely goes to
Lisa Edelstein.
Yes, who goes on to play Cuddy in House. I'm trying to think of other major things that she's done.
That's going to be it. But
like her playing Cuddy in House is like her defining role.
Oh, for sure. Like because I saw House before I saw this, so I was like, oh, Cuddy.
Yeah.
Like well, that's how I was.
Well, I remember it being I had her confused with two other actresses in my head that it could have been.
Okay.
One being the mom in Elf, because she's in a bunch of other stuff. She's in the woman who's in Being John Malkovich. I'm trying to remember her name because they have a similar, the curly brunette, tall look. Trying to remember what her name is. Anyway.
Wait, hold on. Is it? Oh, Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah.
She was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
She plays herself in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes, that's very true as well.
Yeah, I have no other contention for that award. I think that goes to her for this episode and the next one or two episodes she's in.
Yeah. She's in most of the first season, right?
Not terribly. I mean, I'm surprised. Like, again, I have such a mental image in my mind of this is chief doctor, authoritative, responsible figure. To watch her be just sitting in bed, basically smoking weed and being baked is just kind of an interesting.
I'm so baked. She said that too.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good, well acted role, to be honest with you. In this
yeah, she definitely
terribly
was.
Written.
No, I don't think it was terribly written. I feel like she was a young actress. Like I feel like she hadn't been seasoned yet. So, and like you said though, like watching it and having seen her as Cuddy, this serious thing, it's like kind of hard to take her serious whenever it feels like you're like, oh, Cuddy's pretending to be like goofy and smoking weed, and you know what I mean.
Well, even in House, when Cuddy has like her poker episode where she's letting loose, you're kind of like, yeah, chill out.
Yeah. Stop having. You're supposed to be the person who you're like Toby from The Office. Okay, you're supposed to ruin all our fun.
But we need you to do that.
Right. Like you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've come to know. Damn, that is a good comparison. She's like Toby. Michael is House.
Except for at the end of the day, you shouldn't listen to Michael.
And then who was the Australian guy? The Australian doctor? Chase. That's Jim, the good-looking guy.
Dr. Chase.
Which
so does that make
Chase the girl?
No, Chase is the guy.
What's the girl? The girl is Pam.
Well, yeah, what's her name? Oh gosh. I need to rewatch House. I love that show.
It's an amazing show. That's one of the few shows that I watched at the end and like cried. I really did cry at the end.
It's a show that that spice gets to you.
Yeah.
It's a show that you can watch out of order too, which is kind of fun. Or at least for the beginning of it.
Oh, dude, when Dave Matthews. All right, now we're gonna start a house podcast.
Yeah, what?
Let's see.
House and
hot wings.
House and
hot wings. We just pretty much this whole show is just guys sitting around eating hot wings, talking about other like TV shows.
Yep.
Whichever one they feel like talking about that time. Oh my gosh. All right.
Dude, we made it through the list.
How do we end this now? How do we end it? So if you are still listening, I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed sitting around talking about the West Wing and eating wings. And
you know, when I agreed to doing this, I thought, all right, this will be terrible, and we'll get it out of our system. But now I really want to watch another episode and do this again.
Yeah. All right, so here's the deal. If you're still listening to this for some reason, do us a favor. Let us know somehow. Post in the group. Send one of us a message. You can find us on Instagram at The Effects Loop. Go to theeffectsloop.com. It's got all the ways to contact us. Let us know if you enjoyed it. We'd definitely love to do it again. I feel like if we get people telling us, it'll give us the oomph to want to. Or actually, it'll just give us the ability to say, no, people really did listen. We can do it again. Instead of, why did that episode only get 4 downloads?
Okay. And don't worry, everybody. We're going to talk about Guitar Gear next week if we're going back to normal. I actually got something cool in the pipeline that I'm really looking forward to, that we're working on right now and finishing up some details on. So
even I was confused for a second. I was like, what are you buying? And then
well, there's that too. At some point in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have that in hand. But yeah, it's together. It's playing. It's settling. I sent you the video, right?
No, wait.
Yeah, I'll send you a video of it.
Yes. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for listening. We really had a lot of fun. It was awesome.
This has been a dream of ours for how long?
At least a year. At least for 2 years. I mean,
I look forward to when one fan goes back and they're like, yeah, episode 32 was the one you first talked about it. Oh, like, dang.
If someone did that, I would be thoroughly amazed.
I mean, we notice when someone downloads all our episodes all at once, so that happens.
Yeah, they're like, why did we get like 300 downloads in an hour?
Oh, they download all our episodes. Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys next week doing our regular thing. And it'll be great because we'll have like 2 weeks worth of news and stuff to talk about. So everyone, have a good one. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Strong. We have to just keep pushing along. We are one. So let's come together, show 'em some love. There are many things that this world needs, but the most important one is unity. United we stand, divided we fall. Through the ages this has been the same old song. Yeah. We are strong. We have to just keep pushing along. We are one. So let's come together, show some love. This song is not about race or politics, but the hate that resides in the hearts of men. Desperate times calling desperate measures. So why don't we be desperate to love each other?
Let's erase hate from the dictionary. Why is niggas negativity always drawn out. Picture every visualized love. Energized lives together. We undefeated. A plan to make weathers, no gloves needed. When we weed into the mindset of achieving and believing in a community that remains happy. Done the actor, the world should be one. Hate annihilated, every heart is one. Love again. So
Don't buy the hate, don't separate. We're strong when love overcomes. Don't buy the hate, don't separate. We're strong when love overcomes. Don't buy the hate, don't separate. We're strong when love overcomes. Don't buy the hate, don't separate. We're strong when love overcomes. We can overcome it. Don't buy the hate, don't separate. We're strong when love overcomes.
make the love flow, 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 make the love make the love flow, 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 make the love flow.
I feel like we should start it on ours, and if it gets any interest, we could do something different, but
Sure.
it could be just a random thing we do.
Doing that random thing you do.
2 podcasts. Oh my gosh. Calm down, Tom Hanks. Written, directed, and starring.
I mean, that's pretty much what I do with the show.
I don't know about the starring part.
I'm a featured player.
I was about to say featuring. You're like you're like Jed Bartlett. You weren't meant to be one of the main characters, but you just took over.
Oh yeah, save that for later too.
Yes,
save that topic.
It's one of my favorites. Yeah.